What if the person you call me is mostly a story? Not a lie, not fake, but a carefully edited narrative. A narrative stitched together from memory, emotion, fear, culture, trauma, and repetition. You wake up every day assuming continuity. I am the same person I was yesterday. But what if that continuity is an illusion your brain works desperately to maintain? You say, "This is just who I am." But what if that sentence is the psychological cage you don't even realize you're inside? Tonight, we are going to destabilize something fundamental. You are not who you think you are. And that's not bad news. It might be the most liberating realization of your life. Think about this. Have you ever said, "That's just who I am"? I'm bad at relationships. I'm not a disciplined person. I'm an anxious type. I'm just not confident. It feels honest. It feels self-aware. But what if those statements are not self-knowledge, but self-hypnosis? In psychology, we know that humans are storytelling creatures. We don't just experience life, we narrate it. We build an identity out of memories, interpretations, and emotional highlights. And over time, that story hardens into something we call me. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The story is selective. You forget most of what happens to you. You reinterpret the past to fit your present beliefs. You filter reality through confirmation bias, seeking evidence that proves you right about yourself. If you believe you're unlucky, you'll notice every setback and ignore every opportunity. If you believe you're unlovable, you'll replay every rejection and dismiss every moment of connection. And slowly, your identity becomes less of a discovery and more of a cage. But where did that cage come from? To understand that, we need to look at the first mechanism shaping your sense of self. Psychologists distinguish between the experiencing self and the narrative self. The experiencing self lives in the present moment. It feels sensations, emotions, impulses. The narrative self, on the other hand, is the storyteller. It stitches together memories and creates coherence. It says, "This is who I am." Research by psychologists like Daniel Kahneman shows that we don't remember experiences accurately. We remember peaks and endings. That means your identity is partly built from emotional highlights, not objective truth. Let's say you gave 10 presentations in your life. 9 went fine. 1 was humiliating. Guess which one your narrative self uses to define you? "I'm terrible at public speaking." Now imagine you carry that belief for years. You avoid opportunities. You decline promotions. You reinforce the story. The narrative becomes destiny. But here's the twist. The narrative self isn't evil. It's trying to create stability. The brain craves coherence. It wants a predictable identity. So it simplifies you. You become the responsible one, or the funny one, or the difficult one. But human beings are not simple. Actionable exercise. Tonight, write down 3 beliefs you have about yourself. For example, "I'm bad at confrontation." Then ask, "When did I decide this? What evidence contradicts it?" What if this is a pattern, not an identity? Notice the shift. When you treat traits as patterns instead of fixed truths, something opens up. And that's where things get interesting. Because even if your identity is constructed, something deeper is running the show. Let's talk about the unconscious. Carl Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Think about your recurring problems. You date the same type of emotionally unavailable partner. You procrastinate right before success. You push people away when they get too close. And you tell yourself, "That's just bad luck," or "That's just who I am." But psychology suggests something deeper: repetition compulsion. We unconsciously recreate familiar emotional environments, even painful ones, because familiarity feels safe. If you grew up in a chaotic household, calm relationships might feel boring. If love was inconsistent, you may equate anxiety with attraction. A real-life example: a highly competent professional repeatedly sabotages promotions. Every time she's about to advance, she misses deadlines. On the surface, she says she wants success, But unconsciously, success threatens her identity. In her childhood, standing out led to criticism. So her system equates visibility with danger. This isn't weakness. It's conditioning. Actionable practice. Start tracking emotional triggers. When you feel intense emotion, anger, shame, panic, pause and ask, how old does this feeling feel? Not how old are you? How old does it feel? Often, you'll notice the reaction feels younger than your actual age. That's a clue. You're not reacting as your present self. You're reacting from an old emotional imprint. Awareness doesn't instantly fix it, but it breaks the illusion that this is just who you are. And once the illusion cracks, you gain leverage. Which brings us to the most powerful shift of all. If you are not your narrative, and you are not your unconscious patterns, then who are you? Here's a radical idea. You are the awareness observing them. In mindfulness psychology and cognitive behavioral therapy, one crucial shift is called cognitive diffusion. Instead of saying, I am anxious, you say, I notice I am experiencing anxiety. Small linguistic shift, massive psychological impact. Because when you observe a thought, you are not the thought. Meditation research shows that when people practice observing their internal experience without judgment, activity in the default mode network, the brain region linked to self-referential thinking, decreases. In simple terms, the constant me narrative quiets down. Try this exercise right now. Close your eyes for 10 seconds. Notice a thought arise. Now ask, who noticed that thought? There is the thought, and there is the awareness of it. They are not the same. When you strengthen this observing capacity, something changes. You create space between stimulus and response. And in that space, as Viktor Frankl wrote, lies freedom. Here's a practical daily habit. When emotionally triggered, label the experience. There is anger, not I am angry. When self-critical thoughts arise, say, my mind is telling me a story that I am not enough. You don't fight the mind. You don't suppress it. You observe it. And gradually, the grip of identity loosens. But this realization can be unsettling. Because if you're not your story, who are you becoming? Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, become who you are. It sounds poetic, but it's paradoxical. How can you become who you already are? Because the you he refers to is not the conditioned identity. It's the deeper potential beneath it. Carl Jung called this process individuation, the integration of conscious and unconscious parts of the psyche. And writers like Fyodor Dostoevsky explored this inner conflict relentlessly. His characters are rarely one-dimensional. They are contradictory, fragmented, wrestling with themselves. Because that is the human condition. You are not a fixed entity. You are a dynamic process. Gabor Maté often emphasizes that what we call personality is often an adaptation to stress or trauma. Traits that once protected you may now limit you. Your people-pleasing once ensured safety. Your emotional distance once prevented pain. Your perfectionism once earned approval. They were intelligent adaptations. But you are allowed to update your software. The tragedy is not that we have patterns. The tragedy is believing we are those patterns. And the moment you realize you are more than your conditioning, responsibility enters. Freedom and responsibility arrive together. So let's bring this together. You are not your story. You are not your automatic reactions. You are not your intrusive thoughts. You are the awareness capable of observing, questioning, and reshaping them. Today, instead of saying, this is just who I am, try asking, is this a pattern I learned? Instead of defending your identity, investigate it. Because the most powerful transformation doesn't come from becoming someone new. It comes from shedding what was never truly you. If this resonated, comment below. What belief about yourself are you beginning to question? And if you're ready to explore deeper layers of psychology, identity, and self-awareness, subscribe and watch the next video. Because the person you think you are might just be the beginning.